Hi everybody, welcome back. I appreciate you coming in for another visit. So today I'm going to do an update. I'm a little late with it. It's a 1-year update on a Phalaenopsis that I transitioned into Leca in June of 2021 with the help of Nina from Ninja's Orchids. But this is her in bloom and they are starting to go over, but she did bloom in Mayish, middle of May. I can't remember exactly when, but she's been in bloom for about 3 months. She ended up getting 8 blooms, 4 on either side. Very, very pretty blooms. But she sits in this room, my extra plant room, as I'm now calling it. It has a double southwest facing window, but she still has lots of roots here, but look at all the roots going in to le pot. And she has grown these 3 leaves before the beginning of the season. Then she grew this leaf, started on the spike, and look at I love how this aerial root is just kind of following the path and pushing on this leaf right here. That is just so precious. Oh my goodness. But she's also now working on a new leaf, still in bloom. And let me move her to the table so we can look inside this pot, because I am very, very pleased. So Nina, if you ever watch this, thank you so much for all of your help in transitioning her. And I'm so sorry that you lost yours that we did together. But oh my goodness, look how pretty she is. And she's just starting to senesce a leaf from last year. So she is just, oh my goodness, I'm so happy with this. All right, let me get her set up on the table so we can talk about her a little bit more. I'll kind of let you know, fertilizing, watering, you know, all the usual stuff that we do. But she does sit here in this southwest facing window. Currently I do have my windows open because it is a beautiful 75 degrees in Colorado today. Well, in Denver. I don't know about all of Colorado, but in Denver. And she does not get any direct sun other than early morning, late afternoon. And as you can see, she gets that dappled light during the day. So that is the light that she gets. So I'll be right back with her on the table and we'll pull her out of the pot. All right, so we are back at the table, and look at this. Let me just turn her around. Look at these blooms. They're just absolutely gorgeous, and they're very waxy, so they do stay a lot longer than those little more flimsier ones. And you can really see how that root is now going down. I have my doors open, so if you hear the noise outside, that is what that is. But this aerial root right here, I did loop it around the tag to keep it from touching the table that she was initially set on. And since then I have moved her in there. And I cannot take the tag out because if you look in there, she has a root growing on there. She's got this aerial root here, but wait for it. Look at the roots. Now, let me just get her a little closer. Turn her around here. So she has root coming out here, and I don't know if you can see it or not very well on the camera, but this is starting to bulge, so I may have to repot her next year and put her in a bigger setup. And she does have a wee bit of salt buildup. That white that you see right there, it's a wee bit of salt buildup that she got earlier on when I was over fertilizing her. So what I do now is she only sits in 100 to 150 parts per million of either the fertilizer, which is the MSU fertilizer, or if I give her a CalMag soak, or if I add any seaweed supplementation to it. And she's only had 2 seaweed supplementations in the last year and a half, almost year and a half. And I just, oh my goodness, I love this thing. So what I do is I keep the water down in the reservoir. Once a week, I give her a soak flush, is I think what it's called. I just fill the pot all the way up until I see the water at the top, and I let her soak for 30 minutes just plain water. Once a month, I will add the Epsom salts to kind of help with that salt buildup, but once it was pretty bad, so I doubt I'll be able to get it all out of the Leca balls that are in there right now until after I take them out, sterilize them, kind of cook all that away. But she is doing amazing. So with her being so successful in here is why I decided to move. Let me just grab her real quick because she's right here. I decided to move this one, which she is a no ID. I cannot remember what her blooms look like. It's been that long. And I actually bought this one specifically to move her into Leca. But this one is one that I had in just the perlite that comes in the bark mixtures, just all perlite. And she was doing well in there, but she wasn't thriving. So I have since moved her into this Leca setup. It's a self-watering pot. She's been in here since May, and since May, shortly after I put her in this setup, she's kicked out this leaf. Since then, she's only grown this one leaf for me and some roots. Well, now she has roots galore going into the pot. And the thing I like about this self-watering, this is the kind of pot that I purchased for the summer blooming phals that I want to transition into Leca, is it doesn't have the holes. So once it comes time to repot her again in a couple of years, I don't have to worry about damaging any roots. Because obviously I'm not going to cut up these pots because they're a little costly. Now the pot over here, this one here, this one I might cut it up just because these pots weren't as expensive as those were. And speaking of expensive, so here's a little public service announcement for everyone, male or female. Take time to take care of yourself, okay? And with that, I mean, get a pedicure, get a manicure, and yes, guys, that includes you. Taking care of your feet, keeping all that dead skin build up, just the massaging, just taking care of yourself will just boost your serotonins, make you feel better overall. Go take care of yourself. Everybody takes care of everyone else. We're taking care of our orchids. Sometimes we get lost in the fray. Stop getting lost in the fray. Go take care of yourself. Public service announcement is now over. And the reason I thought of that is sometimes people will say it's too expensive. It can be, depending on where you go. If you go to one of those very high-end places where they give you the wine and the cheese and all the little extras, of course it's going to be expensive. But you know what? They also have just regular old nail shops. You can just go in and just get one. I think the most expensive one I've seen is like $65, and that's like their deluxe. So just go take care of yourself. Back to the orchid. Anywho, so I'm excited to see, sorry guys, side rant. I get that sometimes. But side rant over. Back to our gold staff here. So she is now, I consider, a success in Leca, and having transitioned her and kind of used her as my experiment on what I can and can't do and how to do it, and of course bugging Nina at the beginning, okay, I've done this, what should I be doing now, that kind of thing. I'm so proud of myself, and I'm usually not one to say, ooh, look at me, but look at me. Look at this. I'm so proud of it. And the fact that this one here is now taking off as well. Oh, I may have to think about putting more of the phals, because that was the original idea behind testing this, is moving 90% of my Phalaenopsis collection into self-watering, just because they're such drinkers. And in my environment where the temperature range can be anywhere from 70 to 85 if I have the windows open, to a steady kind of 75, 77 when the windows are closed and we're using the central unit. They drink year round. So, and they're all stay in pretty much active growth year round. So Their blooming tends to come about the same time. Speaking of blooming, I probably am not going to do my cool down test that I did last year when I got all the spikes this year, because I just want to see if I leave them where they are, let them kind of live their best life where they're at, if I can still get blooms. If I see that I'm not getting the blooms or not as many blooms, then I'll go back to doing the cool down. In addition to that, there are some of my bigger girls that I'm probably going to cut any spikes that come out so that they refocus back to vegetative growth, so I get double spikes the following year. And that's what I'm going to do with this lady. If she spikes again, I will cut that spike, let her continue vegetatively, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, one day I'll get double spikes. So that's my goal for 2023 through 2024. I'm going to give myself 2 years to shoot for double spikes. Give me any suggestions down below if you've gotten double spikes. How'd you do it? How long have you had the orchid? Because obviously if you've had your orchid for 10 years, like, she's well acclimated into your home. Humidity. Let's go back to the care. Humidity, it's whatever she gets. Really, guys, the humidity in my house can be anywhere from 30 up to 55. It's even hit 60 this summer, and again, it just depends on if the windows are open, if the AC is on, how much I've been watering, because when you water, that will increase the humidity in that area. So with Phalaenopsis, don't worry too much about humidity. If you're comfortable, they're comfortable. They don't really need special humidity requirements like some of the other orchids. What else can we talk about? We talked about the blooms, we talked about the lighting, talked about fertilizer. Oh, I switch this out, even if it's not empty, once a week. So for those of you who grow in Leca, can you let me know if that's even necessary, or should I just wait for the reservoir to completely dry out or get really low and then replace the water? All right, well, with that, guys, I've got to go. My battery on my microphone is dying. So again, I appreciate you stopping by. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Again, thank you, Nina. I appreciate your help, and I appreciate all of you for stopping by. See you next time.